allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to approve or look at the public meeting minutes first. So once everybody has a chance to look at them, if you would.
I have two minor adjustments.
Okay, go ahead.
I already gave it to
You already did? Okay.
Was it the Mr. Sherman?
Yeah, Sherman, okay. Oh, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 16th meeting
I'll second.
As amended.
as amended.
Got a motion and a second by Kim. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained. Okay, and we do have a set of non-public. Did you pass them down that way?
They do.
Sorry.
Make a motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes from November 16th meeting.
I have a motion to have a second.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained. If you could pass those back, please. Alright, moving on, student, staff, and family share. I believe we have some.
So we have Chris Snyder here tonight from Danville and a whole lot of blue. So Chris, talk to us a little about what we're gonna see, and then I know the board is eager to hear from some kids and to have some engagement with them, so.
Thank you for having us. When I was approached about having someone come and talk about Danville School and some of the good things that are going on there, the first thought that I had was to have our student council come. So it's been a few years since we've had student council. And I don't wanna talk too long because I feel like they are a little nervous, but they're gonna do a wonderful job. They've put together a really good presentation about some of the things that have already happened and then also some of the things that they've planned yet to happen. So I think they're the best voice for you to know about Danville School and what's happening there. So they're easy to pick out. They're wearing their blue student council shirts and they have this all planned out, right? And they're all here, they're ready to go. So I'll head out of the way and let them go ahead and do their presentation, and then if you have any questions to follow up or whatever, that'll be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome Danville.
Come on down. Woo-hoo. Welcome. Just two? Where's the rest? Come on.
Oh. See, oh, turn.
Oh, there's a keyboard right there
There's a
on the
keyboard right
table.
there,
You can
sir.
hit the down arrow on the keyboard.
No, at the desk. Up there. You can come sit right there. You go.
I didn't realize what you were doing. Yeah, you're all set.
Very high tech.
here.
All these adults, Connor.
Hello, I'm Hannah Cannon.
And I'm Sadie Belacqua.
Today we are going to be introducing everybody in the Danville Elementary Student Council that is going to be speaking today. Thank you.
First, we have a 5th grader, Maggie Seaver, talking about how students applied to get into the Student Council.
Thank you so much, Sadie. I am so grateful for being here today, and thanks to all of our wonderful teachers, Miss Stonley and Miss LaSalle, for bringing our Danville Student Council back. It has been over 4 years since there has been a student council, and I am here to talk about the journey of getting into it. There was over 28 participants applying and only 12 were voted in. There was a long process of getting accepted, and this is how it went. First, you had to plan out your campaign and get at least 2 teachers to sign it if you would be a good student council member or not. Our wonderful teachers planned out an anonymous vote, so it wasn't just a popularity contest. After everybody in the 4th and 5th grade voted, Miss Donnelly and Miss Lasso counted up all the votes. Once all the votes were in, the student council members got told they had made it, and for all the people that didn't, they got reminded that their ideas were heard. Next, you will hear from other student council members and what we have been doing and are planning to do.
Thank you, Maggie. Good job.
The second person talking is going to be a 4th grader, Elise Labeo. She is talking about how we made an assembly about bus safety.
Good evening. We decided to do a bus safety assembly during Bus Safety Week. We wanted to do an assembly because we were noticing that friends needed reminders on how to be safe on the bus. We decided to show all the students what not to do on the bus to make it more engaging and fun for the audience. Then we had our hosts Kaya and Maggie ask the students what they noticed about how we were acting on the bus. Students in the audience were able to point out all the wrong things we were doing, like eating on the bus, playing with toys and electronics, fighting and picking on the seats. To wrap up the assembly, we took their corrections and demonstrated the right way to act on the bus. Then I was able to wrap up the whole assembly by thanking everyone for coming and hoping they would take our advice about bus safety. Third, we have a 4th grader, Lucy Taft, talking about the Fall Festival. This year at our school, we had another fall festival, and some of our student council volunteered to help because PTA needed help. We had so many hits with the candy stands and games and some crafts, but our biggest hit was the pie in the face game, where the person that won had 3 tries, and if he or she made it in the middle hole, they got to choose who they wanted to pie in the face with whipped cream. Some of the student council members who got pied in the face were Mia Cartagena, Hannah Cannon, Elise Labeo, and I, Lucy Taft. There were also 3 other people that got pied in the face, and they were Mr. Snyder, Miss Donnelly, and Mrs. Lasso. All of our student council members were busy, and we had so much fun.
Mr. Sapia will do the pie in the face next year.
Fourth, we have another 4th grader, Kaya Sarasulo. She is talking about the Kindness Spirit Week the student council put together.
Good evening. Another thing that Student Council has done is the Kindness Spirit Week. The first Spirit Week activity was on Monday. On Monday, it was dress up like a rock star. A lot of students here in Danville dressed up and participated in Rockstar Day. Another Kindness Spirit Week activity was on Tuesday to wear beautiful bright colors and tie-dye. Many students, including myself, were wearing super bright and tie-dye clothes that the hallways were filled with color. On Wednesday, we had Team Kindness Day. Each grade had the choice to wear their grade color. The grade colors were pre-K was orange, kindergarten was red, first grade was white, second grade was green, third grade was purple, fourth grade was black, and fifth grade was blue. Also, on Thursday, it was dress up in your school color. There were so many students again, including myself, wearing blue and white beautiful school colors. It was super fun. And lastly, on Friday, it was wear your cozy pajamas to school if you would like to. And that is pretty much what happened during Kindness Spirit Week. Thank you.
Nice.
Fifth, we have a 4th grader, Mia Cartagena. She is talking about the winter gear drive we have planned.
The Student Council wanted to do something to help the community. Winter gear is really expensive, and we know that some families can't afford it. So, as a group, we decided to have a winter gear drive. For this drive, we are asking that some students bring in good condition winter gear. Some of the winter gear that we are looking for are gloves, hats, scarves, jackets, and snow pants.
In order to get all the kids excited for the winter gear drive, we are going to do a competition with all the grades to see who brings the most winter gear. The grade that brings the most winter gear gets a movie, popcorn, and hot cocoa for a prize. The gear that we collect will go to any student at Danville in need of winter clothes. Then what's left over will be donated to the clothes closet in Chester, New Hampshire. We're really excited to see how much we collect and what grade it brings the most gear.
Sixth, we have a fifth grader, Amelia Stewart. She is talking about the holiday spirit week we have planned.
We student council members also planned a holiday spirit week for the week before vacation. On Monday, we will dress festively. On Tuesday, we will wear a tacky sweater, and if you don't have any, then you can make your own. Wednesday will be a day to wear comfy PJs. If you or didn't want to wear PJs, then you could wear comfy clothes. Second to last, we will wear a holiday hat or headband. Finally, for Friday, we will wear holiday colors. Last but not least, we have a fifth grader, Bria Bowman. She is talking about getting more options for recess. Thank you. One thing the student council has done is we wrote letters to our school principal, Mr. Snyder. The letter said that we wanted more recess activities for the older students at Danville School, specifically a Gaga ball. Gaga ball is kind of like dodgeball, but you only get out if you're hit at or below your knees. If a player catches the ball off a bounce, then the player who hit it to them is out. Players can only hit, slap, or bounce the ball. If you get hit and it is above your knee, you get to stay in. If you hit the ball out of the pit, you are out. Maggie Seaver earlier talked about the applications to get into student council. Many students wrote on their applications that they wanted a Gaga pit to be added to our school. So some students recently wrote letters to Mr. Snyder requesting a Gaga pit. We are very pleased that our efforts paid off and we now have one. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation that we put together for you. Thank you to the other student council members that couldn't be here tonight, and thank you to Miss Donnelly, Miss Lasso, and Mr. Snyder for making this happen for the 4th and 5th graders.
Good job. Very well done. Thank you guys so much. I know you all skedaddled out of the way really quick, but what is your guys' favorite part about being on student council? Anyone want to say? We don't bite. It's okay. What is that?
Able to speak for the whole school.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anybody, other board member, want to ask a question or make a comment? Yeah, Shauna?
I don't want to ask a question. I want to make a comment. So, I'm a college professor, and my students had a presentation today, and I have to tell you, they were not nearly as professional and prepared and well-spoken as you guys were today. I'm blown away, not only at the amazing things that you're doing in your school and the changes that you're making, but also how you were able to communicate that to a big room of adults. A little bit scary, I know, but I'm really impressed with all of you. And thank you to the parents for coming out on a busy week and allowing your kids to come share this with us. It was really, really awesome.
I just want to say, there's so many things you are doing that are so great. I'm so proud that that's going on in one of our schools, and thank you for making your principal respond to something that everybody wanted. I hope you're all using that Gaga pit.
Is that your list of?
Here are all my letters.
Wow, I love it. That's
On
awesome.
a quick personal note, more than half of these guys I've known since they were younger than 3. And I'm so incredibly proud and blown away by that presentation. And you guys have so much to be proud of. Good job, Danville.
Very nicely done. Thank you guys. Do we have any delegates or individuals? No. Okay, can I get a motion to move the 30 minutes to the end?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jack. Any discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? And abstained. All right.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you guys for coming. A lot clearer than you. Yeah, they did really good.
Weeds. There was some good.
Let them go and then you. Yeah, so it's on an agenda. That's not. I guess I'm used to an executive session. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just on the 18th.
That was probably two students.
All right, student rep.
I hope everyone's enjoying this chilly Thursday evening. Yeah, I have some good updates, so yeah. So trimester report cards were released as of late for elementary schools in the district. The winter music concert season has begun on all school levels. In the coming weeks, there will be chorus, orchestra, and band concerts at our Performing Arts Center. There's going to be a bingo for books event for both Sandown North and Central. This event's going to be taking place tomorrow night. Sandown Central's new hat, mitten, and sock drive is well underway with still one more week to collect. A thank you goes out to those who have already donated. Sandown North staff have been bringing in items to support the Sandown Giving Tree, which provides gifts for the children and senior citizens in the community. A thank you goes out to Sandown PTA for providing a fun activity for students next week. Students are going to be searching for elves in the building with a chance to win a prize. The Danville PTA is excited to host a holiday shopping event tomorrow night, and also a family movie night will be on Friday, December 22nd. And then just in regards to the Danville Student Council, I think that's really great, and Student Council really changes environments in the school, so it's great to see already young leaders in Danville, so it's great to see. And then at Atkinson Academy, as we continue through the holiday season, students are starting to learn about holidays around the world. Academy students are also learning about the United States government and how it works. The Pollard PTA hosted a very well-attended holiday pancake breakfast and holiday shop for students and families last weekend. The 5th grade parent committee is hosting a gathering for 5th graders tomorrow night at Pollard. There's going to be lots of fun activities planned. And then at the middle school, this past Saturday, over 100 seniors from our district's 4 communities enjoyed snacks, music, stories, trivia, and of course tea. The middle school PTSA and staff marketed and organized this event. Many students volunteered to help seniors to their seats, get beverages, and share stories. The choirs, band, and orchestra entertained. Dr. Preble's student leadership team at the middle school have officially named themselves as the Student House of Representatives. They are excited about positively impacting the climate and culture in the building. Spelling bee semifinals are happening in all 3 grades this week at the middle school. The middle school school-wide spelling bee will take place at the PAC on Thursday, December 14th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And this event's going to be live streamed. The Mealy's Meals basket winners for 2023 have been announced on the school district website. The proceeds for all the district tickets go to families in need in our district. Let's see. And then in the high school library last night, Business Honor Society held their induction. Congratulations to all the new inductees. Winter sports at the high school are now underway. Best of luck to all the teams this season. And then the middle school and high school submitted 701 cards to our military challenge this year. It's just holiday cards for our troops, and the middle school and high school students' efforts truly embrace the foundation of the holiday card challenge with their expressions of genuine appreciation, respect, and gratitude. English Honor Society member Senior Claire Smith is collecting children's and young adult books to be donated to Copper Cannon Camp in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. The mission of this nonprofit camp is to enrich the lives of underserved youth in New Hampshire by providing a quality, tuition-free camp experience. The first donation of 25 books was delivered to the camp on Friday, December 1st, and it was greatly appreciated by the camp's executive director, who shared that each camper goes home with a book at the end of each week. And lastly, there was a student council event at the high school last night where kids in the district joined to build gingerbread houses and play games. There was a solid turnout. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, thank you very much. Lots of good stuff going on. first order of business is ELO update.
Awesome. So I will introduce Dr. Campbell, and again, just a really brief reminder for the board, ELOs are avenues or pathways for students to earn high school credit that is not sitting inside of a classroom or a traditional educational experience. It's directly linked to our strategic plan about providing as many pathways to success and graduation for students as possible. So Dr. Campbell is going to highlight that program, but also talk about where it's at its second year of inception and meet some students that are working through some pretty awesome experiences.
Yeah, tough act to follow, but thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you taking some time. Yeah, the extended learning opportunities, we are going into our second year in the position. Well, I'm in the second year of the position, and we kind of want to talk first about where we ended up last year. We completed 13 total ELOs, various different categories: education, real estate, occupational therapy, and equine studies. 7 of the 13 completed ELOs on exit interviews said that they were going to continue either in the workforce or through their education in their ELO field. So very positive experiences through those. And we started the theater tech program at the PAC last year, which was successful. We'll be running that again this year. And we were able to get a front page feature on the Eagle Tribune, which was very nice for us. This year, we have over 30 extended learning opportunities in progress, varying from nursing, cosmetology, engineering, physical training, and electrical work. These are just some of them. What we found, or what I found, is that our programs are providing opportunities for students to get involved all at once. One of the new programs that we started with the Plastow Fire Department, teaching fire science, firefighter science, Science 1 and Science 2. So students are able to go through their junior firefighter program and earn credit through that. We have about 7 students involved with that program right now. The second program that we've combined with is the Parkland Medical Center. We have 2 students who were involved with that, Caitlin and Julia Reynolds, who I'd like to invite up to talk about their experience with their nursing ELO.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Reynolds. My sister and I were part of the internship at the Parkland Medical Center, which started right around September, I think, and it's been really amazing so far. We go every other school day for an hour and a half to either we clean patient rooms, we greet patients at the front desk, we shadow different nurses, we learn how to use different medical equipment in the trauma room, we organize supplies, and we set up IV carts. Throughout this opportunity, we've also been able to shadow. We've been given multiple opportunities to shadow different healthcare professionals. We were able to shadow like surgeons, physician's assistants, and different nurses and radiologists. So it's been a very, very empowering experience.
Yes, we're very grateful to have this opportunity to make sure that this is actually something that we wanted to go into in the future. We chose this ELO and looked out for wanting to do this because we wanted to make sure that nursing is definitely what we wanted to go towards in the future. And because of this ELO, we're definitely more confident in our decision of going into nursing and both plan to go to school for nursing now, for sure.
Yeah,
Super impressive.
So this is great. Yes, this is something that came around. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm quite nervous, so I want to get this. This is something that is brand new to us. They just opened up on Plastow Road, and they approached us. They have a couple of different facilities in the area, Exeter, and Portsmouth, I believe, is another area. And so we're very fortunate to have this down the road. And like many things, we want to expose students to career exploration, which is something that we talked about last year. A student who we would rather a student know if they want to go into a field before they enter into college and they spend 4 years and thousands of dollars to realize that they don't want to do it. So this is kind of a great opportunity. The next student I have is Christina Auger. She is working with the special ed department over at the middle school, and I will let her explain what she's doing.
Hi, everybody. So I've been working down at the middle school with Miss Richards and working with kids with Down syndrome, autism, and intellectual disabilities. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time because I'm a part of the special ed system as well. So it's been with me through my whole life. I really want to go into special education because the kids really are awesome and I love being down there with them every day. I go down for almost 2 hours every day during my free block, but it's something very interesting to me and I want to keep doing it.
Mr. Menses had come into my office the other day and said that she was an all-star and he is very excited for her to graduate so we can get her on staff.
We're getting the paperwork on you as we speak.
So she's doing a fabulous job and we're really very proud of her. Thank you very much, Christine. So back to our programs and partnerships, we saw the success that we had with the theater tech program at the PAC and what we're having with the Plastow Fire Department. And our next speaker, Zach Farnell, came up and he was really into broadcast meteorology. We were trying to find him a location at one of our news broadcasts, but due to regulations that they had, we were unable to get him in to see broadcast meteorology. So what we decided is we've decided to bring the meteorology to him. So I'll bring Zach up and we can talk about his weather forecast for the. Yep.
Relative, but still maybe the first flakes of the season for a lot of us. The satellite right now, we can see this massive storm system that's going to be heading for us tomorrow. It's
awesome.
Pretty clearly defined all the way down towards Texas, Mexico. It's stretching all the way up in towards Quebec, Ontario, and our neck of the woods. The low pressure system is a little bit hard to see in there. It is buried in there, but there are a couple spinning up. Now, looking at the fronts map, you can see a couple of those low pressure systems bringing in this big time cold front, but the warm front is not to be left out. That is why, looking at tomorrow, we do see a couple snow showers in towards our area. It turns over to rain quickly, however, and by the day after, just some rain showers. This is your Thanksgiving Day forecast. Thankfully for us, we have something to be thankful for in the weather. Not a whole lot of anything up towards our north, maybe a little bit of snow, a couple of showers here and there, but nothing too severe. Looking out towards Friday, however, we do see a big time change. We wish that this could be our Thanksgiving, but we'll take what we can get. Big time high pressure system moves over our area. We get a whole lot of nothing for the day. Some final clearing out and sunniness. Although, if you want to look out to the west, we see our next storm system and a whole lot of cold. This is not a storm system to underestimate. Up towards the north, you see that high pressure system that is Arctic cold, and that's why we're seeing in towards these areas. If you're looking towards the Rocky Mountains and the west coast along those regions, maybe a foot up to 2 feet in the higher elevations of snowfall. Now, that won't be hitting us until later in the week. Let's take a look right now, tomorrow and tonight. A little bit of snow overnight, but it's only going to get down to about 35. So it's going to be some of that wet, heavy snow that doesn't accumulate very well. Wednesday, tomorrow, we're looking a whole lot of rain up into like the 50s, maybe lower 50s towards the upper 40s. And it's just going to be a washout, sadly, if you're looking for some snow. But thankfully, let's look towards Thanksgiving. How about a beautiful day? 50 degrees, 31 for the low, partly cloudy, and as we get further away towards Friday and Saturday, it begins to cool off. The lows get down to the teens and the 20s again, looking more like December weather as we crawl closer and closer towards the Christmas season. Thank you for joining me for this edition of your Timberlane Weather Update. I'm Zachary Farnell. Happy Thanksgiving.
Extra calling, man.
Oh my God.
I
love it so much.
So yeah, Zach is a very talented meteorologist. He's I'll let him speak. Go ahead.
No guarantees I can be as enthusiastic as I was with that photo.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I'm Zach. I'm a junior this year at Timberlane High School, and I've been really interested in meteorology and weather as a whole since about third grade. My third grade teacher, Mrs. Shute, got me really invested during that whole year, and I came out of that going into fourth grade really kind of dreaming to be a meteorologist as I got older. And when I saw the ELO program come up, I knew that I needed to try and get something out of it. So Dr. Campbell has done a really good job. He's gotten me in contact with Mr. Zanello, and he's been able to put me really in a dream scenario where I can get in front of a camera and in front of a green screen and get some real like job experience of what it might actually be like, and try and see what a real meteorologist does day to day. Along with that, I've been put in contact with multiple meteorologists at WMUR who have helped me refine my college search and look at some classes that I might want to be interested in to try and get me into the college that I hope to get into, and eventually the career that I aspire to go up and get into. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm really glad that I've gotten into it because it's given me a whole lot of opportunities.
I have a question. You know, Linden College is a big meteorology college.
I visited Linden College.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, okay. And I went to high school with Mr. Haddad, who is the MUR meteorologist. So, yes, you have a very bright future ahead of you. He was nothing compared to you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, great job.
Yeah, so this is just some of the highlights that we have of a program that's up and coming. Again, the main goal is really to just provide avenues for students to explore and really take ownership over their learning, and provide opportunities for students outside of the four walls of the classroom. And we're growing, and we're really excited about where the program is going so far. And if it wasn't for our students, we wouldn't be anywhere.
So I have a question. Do you ever reach out to the trades, like the trade unions?
Yes, yeah, we have reached out to Methuen Construction. We've reached out to a lot of people who come with us with the trades. They already are working at a certain place, so we're able to kind of connect with them at a job that they're doing. So we have several students working who have connections in a facility, and we're able to get them going. Really this program really is based on student interest, so we kind of have to go with what we get coming to us.
Yep.
With a program like this, we don't want to force anyone into anything because it is student driven. The students have to be motivated to get through get through all the hours, get through the presentations, and get through all the competencies. So
thank you.
So you're talking about competence, you're talking about a certain amount of time and input and oversight, and do they get the equivalent of a course credit?
yes, right now the program offers elective credits based on hours. So 150 hours will get them one elective credit, and 75 gets them a half of a credit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I was just wondering about the students that did not want to go into their said fields. I believe it was 8-ish. So were they disheartened? Were they happy that no time was wasted?
Last year we only had one student who was not interested in it, and I've always say a no is better, is just as good as a yes. So we'd rather now that you have to commit to the time if you're going to do it, and so if you come up to the end of the ELO and you don't like it, well then that's great. At least you didn't spend 4 years in college or 2 years in college deciding that you wanted to do that and thousands of dollars. So I think, in our entrance meetings, I do explain that to the students, like, you're gonna commit to this, but if you decide that this is not what you want to do, then that's just as good as than assuring that that's something that you do wanna do.
And then my other question is for the PAC Tech, can outside schools come and do that program, or only our students?
Only our students right now, just because we're limited in space. So we are only offering it to 5 students per year at the current moment. It's something that we are trying to use the ELO program to gain interest into different courses that we might want to run later on. But right now it's something that we have a good hold on. We're running into the second year, so this will be something that we're gonna fine tune and tweak. And from the exit interviews from the students last year, it was very beneficial, and even from talks with Mr. Schweiss, it was helpful to then have knowledgeable people to help work some of the things that are going on at the PAC. Yeah.
Any questions? Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
good job. This is good to hear, and glad that the students, thank you for coming down and talking about your experiences. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank
very
you.
much for having me.
You're gonna have a white Christmas?
He's like, maybe, I
It's
don't
too
know.
soon to tell.
Too
We're gonna
soon.
give it's New England Jack, it's New
Yeah,
England.
what an
Too soon
update.
to tell.
Oh my gosh, this banter, all of it. I know, it was great.
Truly an impressive program.
That was,
This
it was
whole
very
program
good.
is impressive.
Next up is our Harvard Model Congress trip.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In your packet, you have an executive summary requesting board approval for a overnight trip. Harvard Model Congress. 2 teachers are taking a group of students to this in February. They will be missing school on both Thursday, February 22nd, and Friday, February 23rd. This is a annual trip. I believe they've been doing this for, can't remember how many years, but a number of years. Students are selected to go. They go and partake in Harvard Model Congress with students from all over New England, I believe all over the nation. It's been well received by the students who go to it. It's just been a phenomenal time, a great learning experience for those kids. So tonight I'm just asking the board approval to allow those students to go on that trip.
And again, like you say, this is something that they have gone to over the years, last several years. So we're just looking for, usually with overnight trips, we have to approve them. So if there's no questions, if someone wants to make a motion to approve the trip.
Make a motion to approve the Harvard Model Congress overnight trip.
Second.
Made a motion by Shauna, second by Dawn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained.
Thank you.
Sir. And then I believe you're here for program studies as well.
I am as well. So I come to you tonight with the first read of the program of study. So this is an annual exercise that we do. We bring it first through Curriculum and Assessment Committee for a first read and a second read, through the board for a first read, second read. The goal is to get it approved to go out to print over Christmas break. And then in January, we start handing out the program of studies to the 8th graders first for the course selection process, and they kind of think about their high school career. And they use that document to kind of guide their decisions and kind of look at all the opportunities they have at the high school. And then, subsequently then the current freshmen, sophomores, and juniors use that document to kind of plan their next steps. What I provided for you in the board packet is the executive summary that really just highlights the major changes. In fact, it's actually every single change from the previous year. And then I've also included the actual program of studies, the proposed program of studies for the 24-25 school year. The biggest change that the school is proposing for this year is we're planning on not running a number of courses. And so we're removing those from the program of studies. But what we'd like to do is hold on to them in a way. And what we're considering doing is archiving them, for lack of a better word. And so by this, what we can do is, if we hold on to them, we have the opportunity to run them in the future for whatever purpose. If down the line we want to run that course again, we don't have to bring that course through the course approval process. It's already sort of been approved because it's been in an approved curriculum, it's been in the program of studies, but we know for a fact that we're not planning on running it, but we don't want to completely jettison it from the opportunities to run it potentially in the future. So that really is the biggest change, is that just there's a list of courses from English, art, and science that we'd like to just archive.
Go ahead.
What was the driving factor? And I apologize, just why would we drop something?
So it's a great question. Really, the driving factor is about we found year after year that these are typically low enrollment courses. And so it's really hard to run a course when it's right there on the cusp of, is it worth running? Is it not worth running? Is it, these are typically singletons, we call them, where we only run one section of it. And so that's a whole teaching section. And to really do due diligence to our resources that we have available in our teaching load or in our teachers and their load and what can we run. We've just found that these have been some low enrollments. they've been on those, like I said, that cusp where, maybe 11, 12 kids sign up for it, but then through the course selection process, it gets down to like 8 or 9 that are actually taking it, and then we have to make the decision and say, we're not running it, and then those 8 or 9 kids have to find another course to take, and it winds up being sort of more complex than it's almost worth at times. When we had 1,600 kids, we could run sections of these, and now with less kids, it's prudent to just not run these sections.
So are these classes, courses so specific that I just wanna make sure that students don't, and I'm sure with you guys that that's not the case, get disenfranchised from an opportunity. There's something else they take in lieu of that.
And so that, again, excellent point, and really a lot of these, and I'm gonna use more of the science classes as examples with what I'm about to say, is that these classes were designed by teachers who came in who had a passion and a background in those subjects. And as those teachers have left us, we're sort of left trying to run a course that's so specific to a content that maybe somebody else doesn't have. And so that's, again, falls into it. But then with students, what we found with a lot of because these are junior, senior electives, is the students just needed a science course. We weren't finding that kids were so like, I want to take that course. They were just saying, I need a science course. And what we're left with is courses that we feel like if kids had a passion for, say, botany or marine or ocean or zoo, they could still find opportunities in the courses that we have to focus their passions in those other courses. So like environmental, for example, the way that we're running environmental is kids can still focus a lot of their, like I said, their passions on these very specific things into that. The other thing that we thought about is, we might only have 1 or 2 kids that are maybe passionate about botany. That opens the door, ELOs opens the door for those kids. And we can now say, rather than running a whole course on botany, work with Dr. Campbell and the ELO program and the curriculum we already have written to now allow those students to pursue botany in a way that's so specialized and focused for them, and really make it almost more meaningful, if you will, than a course with a whole bunch of kids that maybe weren't as into botany as they were. So we feel like the combination of, with Dr. Campbell's work and just, being prudent about what our resources are and our limited resources, and really trying to do what's right for the most number of kids, we feel like we're not really losing anything because we can find other ways to make sure that those kids get what they need.
So my question then becomes, what's the reason to archive it except to be utilized in EOL?
ELOs. Well, it's really the archiving piece of it is that we are not going to put them into the program of study, so it's not available for kids to take. Because like I was saying earlier, is when you offer a course and maybe only 10 or 11 kids sign up for it, when we then don't run it, we now have to find other places for those kids, and if the schedule's already built, the master schedule's already built, now to find another place for those kids, it might run into, okay, now they have to make a decision between this course and something else that they really want. So it's almost easier in the scheduling process to not run courses if you know that you're probably, or not, not offer courses if you know you're most likely not even gonna run them. But allow kids through like I said, the ELOs, when we find out that kids might be interested in something. We also have independent studies that we've been doing for years with kids, that usually if it's a 1 or 2 kid that really is wanting to do something, we can work within our staff and provide opportunities for those kids, but we've just been finding that these courses just haven't had those numbers to warrant running or even, and then offering.
Just to follow up, I do think there's gonna be a time when our enrollments will increase again. Right now, we're falling below 1,000, I believe. We were approaching 1,600 at one point. Something had to change. You can't run the whole program that you had for 1,600 with 1,000. You probably won't even have enough teachers anymore to do that. So what you can do though is bring back a course that's already approved later. So you archive it so that you can resurrect it if it fits the need, where your numbers are. So,
And there's
Also evening division.
Yeah, I
Do you wanna
was just
speak
gonna say,
about that?
yeah, the other example for why to archive and not just completely erase is we, by archiving it, these courses could be brought back as an evening division. So if we had kids that needed a half credit of science or a half credit of English, or they needed a course that they've already taken during the day, so you can't get credit for the same course again. So if a kid has already taken meteorology and environmental during the day and then needs another course and either needs another science course for graduation, you know, we can, rather than running, and if we're only running environmental at night, well, we could bring back one of these archive classes to allow students to take another class and to fulfill that graduation requirement. So it sort of just allows us more flexibility in what we can offer, knowing that we're not going to be offering these during the day, but we, you know, could bring it back at one time for whatever reason.
So then I have two requests. One, that the date, like the year it was archived, be tracked in this record, and then who would be updating the archived classes and courses, making sure that the curriculum is up to speed.
So yes, we can, I guess what I was envisioning is that, cause what you have in your document is also the archive classes, is that document would go parallel every year to you all. You know, the what's public is the program of studies. What we all have access to, the administrators and to the board, is every year, like, we would then present sort of both the archive document and the program of studies, and so we just have that sort of, like I said, in parallel, but not public necessarily.
Sorry, my counterpoint would then be, how would students know to take classes or ask for courses or show interest if they don't know what's archived?
We're not making those public, like usually what I was describing before about, you know, if we had to run it as an evening, it's usually the counselors are coming to us and saying like, hey, we've got this scenario. We've got kids that they need a graduation credit, but we're only offering environmental at night. They've already taken environmental, what can we do for them? And so then that's when we pull it back out of archive. Or you know, counselors would say to us, you know, Johnny is really interested in a science or an art that's not offered in your program of studies. Like, can we do an independent study for that kid? Can we do an ELO for that kid? What else do we have? So the archive is really for us as a way to ensure that these classes don't get completely jettisoned, but they're more internal than as a document, as demonstrating to kids what's available to them.
I do think that by doing this, after you do your presentation to the students, they be ahead of their course selection process, they'll have a better idea of what actually is going to run. So there isn't really gonna be a risk that they're gonna sign up for a course and then have it not run. So I think it becomes a little bit more forgiving that way. You know, those are tough things when your kid has a plan and then something is retired. I think they're very careful with the types of courses that they eliminated, that they are not, you know, things that they might have had much of a chance of getting anyway, because it would only be available one time in the course of a year for a semester perhaps. And then, you know, if they had, you know, other things that were important, say it's band or you know some technology course that's their field, and this was just something that they thought they'd like to do, you know, there's not much chance that they're gonna give up one of those other courses to take, you know, this type of elective, and then it might not run anyway, because we might, you know, say, well, we can't be running courses for 4 or 5 people, it's just not, you know, efficient way to use our staff. So.
And to that point, we had sort of tried a version of this earlier where we were running a number of courses as alternating. So like, we are only gonna run these courses during years starting with even years, and only these courses starting in odd years. What we found is that counselors were telling us that it's not like kids were saying like, I really wanna take this course, so I'm gonna take it as a junior because I know I can't take it as a senior. What we were finding is kids were just, I just need the courses, I don't really care what I take. And so we thought that maybe kids would sort of plan out their schedule if they knew that these courses were only gonna run a certain year. And through the counseling department and through having conversations with kids is we found that that wasn't happening. We like that might happen in college where you sort of plan out your 4 years in college and you say, I really wanna take this course, so I have to take it my junior year. We were finding kids weren't being that sort of thoughtful with the courses that they wanted to take. So we tried that and realized that we still weren't getting the numbers that we needed. So again, we said, all right, well, it doesn't make sense to sort of put it on the menu if we know that we're not gonna be able to give it to the kids. And so now we're just kind of taking it off the menu, but not throwing away all the ingredients, if I can make that analogy.
Makes sense.
Nice analogy.
Thanks.
Nice, that's good. Anybody have any other questions? Does someone wanna make a motion to approve the program of studies for first read?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Kim, seconded by Shauna. Any other discussion?
Just my name's spelled wrong on the page.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Which page?
It's one of the intro pages, yeah. I left off the E, didn't I?
Shame. It does. Alright. Other than that, is there any other discussion? It's important.
I'll fix it right now, Brittany.
Jeez, come on. Alright, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstained. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alright. Next, we have our water service agreement. Hello, Carl.
Good evening.
How are you?
Living the dream.
Aren't we all? So it seems like this company that you are requesting us to go with is a company that we have currently been using over the years, is that correct?
They've been here since 2005 at least. That's the paperwork as far back as I can find.
Okay.
Their prices are going up 17%, but they're still lower than 3 other companies that I solicited quotes from.
Yeah.
I did try a 4th company and they just don't have the staffing to take us on at this time either.
So this current company that you're recommending and that we have been using, they were doing the provide water supply and distribution operations management and testing and compliance with the requirements of the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. So they've already been doing that, this is the new 5-year agreement.
Yes.
How old was the other agreement that we had with them?
5 years.
It was another 5 years, okay, so this is just something recurring that we need to do. Yes, Jack?
I gotta ask a question, cause it just seems out of sorts. Does Hampstead Water Company not do this type of work? Say, this is completely different.
This is our own wells. They have to be
Right.
licensed. They're our licensed operator. They do all our testing. They
I
recommend
was just
the
wondering if
filtration and stuff like that.
that other company lent the same services, just cause they're local. Okay.
They've been great, I mean,
Oh, no, I,
they send the
Seems right.
reports, they're clear, principal season, you guys are very aware, I've never gone down there and not had them, if they had to make a recommendation, immediately it was happening. If we were, having something in the water that was going to be close to, a problem, they monitored it very closely, so, I felt very comfortable working with them.
I'll make a motion to approve the water service agreement with Penachuk.
I'll second that.
Motion made, seconded by Jack, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained. Next is phase 2, the $2 million lease.
Construction committee had a meeting on October 23rd, and there was multiple discussions about different items that we could move forward with the second phase of the lease and other items that we're discussing. Starting to look at the third phase of the lease as well. What was recommended this year is phase 1 and phase 2 of the belfry repair at Atkinson, which would be a cost of about $270,260. Atkinson HVAC phase 1, which was the replacement of 4 Desk Champs HVAC units on the rooftops over there. Then there was a lot of discussion about Atkinson HVAC, what we're gonna do in the future as far as changing controls, changing a micro vent unit over there that they call the spider because of all the ductwork on the roof. We actually wanna bring the ductwork inside to help save energy and reduce roof penetrations. controls upgrades, boiler changes, but that's all in future phases, but there was a lot of discussion at the meeting about that. So this year is just those 4 units. There was an upgrade that we added to it to change everything to Dakin. There was a lot of discussion about the different units out there and lead times. There was energy savings and stuff like that. So it was thought of by the committee to move forward with Dakin systems for anything that we do from now on. We also talked about the Timber Lane High School roof, Area D, which is gonna be probably 80% of the roof. It goes from the front all the way to the 200 wing in the back of the building. The entire roof will be replaced. They're not gonna do any insulation or roof. It's not a re-roofing project, it's a recovering project, so we won't have to do the added securing the deck to the roof deck to the building like we had to do at the middle school. That's for $2,101,400. Then we're going to replace the high school ERV units, which is 17 rooftop units. And we're gonna add dehumidification and we're gonna do duct cleaning on that, and that's $4,119,495. And then upgrade the controls with valve replacement as well for $797,860 for a total of $8,568,425.
Mouthful.
And again, this was all approved, this is all part of the approved lease projects from last year's voting.
Kim?
Can you remind me who's on the construction committee?
Jack Sapia, Gary Goby, who's a community member, Kim Farrer, Brian Boyle, Maria Watkins, myself, and Sarah Vera comes to take notes when she's available.
I do. What I'd like to do, in light of some different ways of looking at this, I'd like to go revisit this. I sent out an invitation for the construction committee to meet on Monday, so we can sit down and drill into some stuff. I had some lengthy conversations with different resources, and I just wanna make sure, I want the construction committee to take a second look at this. Information and data is valuable to us, and I think we have some new data, and I think we need to obtain some more data before we move forward. That would be my recommendation here, and we don't really lose time on this at all. 2 weeks, a month is what I'm thinking. But there's been some discussion as to some of the critical elements we have around the district.
Looking at the 2024?
Yeah, I'm
So
looking at
phase 2, Jeff?
phase 2, I'm looking at
Okay.
phase 2. But I think it's worthy of a deeper exploration and a deeper discussion. Because there have been some concerns voiced. So I'd like to do that on Monday and kind of move forward in a very strategic way.
I'd also heard from a couple of the other committee members of asking this board to wait and have them have that meeting on Monday and then have it come back to us on the second one, the second meeting in December. But I was also, because there is only one board member currently sitting, I was gonna ask if one more board member wanted to be on this committee as well, just so we have 2 on it. And Paul, are you good with wanting to be on this?
Yes.
Okay. So I am with Jack on this, on waiting, letting that committee, since I've had a couple other of those committee members reach out to me and saying, hey, let's wait, let's put pause on it just for a second, like what Jack said, we're not losing any time, but just to make sure, because this is a lot of money, we wanna make sure we're doing it right. I know you guys have done some really good stuff as well with it, so is this board okay with waiting on this and letting them have that meeting and coming back to us in the second one, or next meeting?
Definitely.
Okay.
The other thing I'd like to say is, there's been some heavy lifting done in the district.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
think Carl says it all the time, that it's not in front of you, it's not, it's on roofs, it's in ceilings, but when I walked up on the academy roof and saw it looked like 50 basketballs had been slid underneath the rubber membrane, that it completely,
Yeah.
right, so, but I wanna make sure we're doing all the right stuff here.
Right. Okay, so that's for that, and then the next thing is the 2025 CIP recommended projects.
So the CIP committee met quite some time ago and came forward with the following recommendations. Oil burners conversion to propane at Sandown North at a cost of $400,000. That'll extend the life of the units because they won't be burning oil, and they also save energy. Replace the boilers at the SAU. This unit is quite old and nearing its end of useful life. For $40,000, update the locker rooms, including the PE teachers area at the middle school for $250,000. Repave the drop-off loop at Atkinson Academy down in front of the building on the right-hand side. Cars line up 2 by 2, so they're cracking the edge, and we need to repave that and re-shim it. Outdoor learning improvements at the middle school for $96,500. We're going to make sure grass can grow down there. We're going to add a covered seating area and a wall ball area, the size of which nothing can be compared. And a lighting control upgrade at the high school, similar to what we did at the middle school this summer, to give teachers more controls of their LED lights with dimming capabilities and occupancy control. Also an energy saving measure. Darkroom renovation at the high school, it's just at $30,000, and the CIP committee said just go ahead and do it because it's under the $30,000. We're probably under the $30,000 threshold, so we're actually already planning to do that this summer. Repave the side lot at the middle school. If you look over there, the spider webbing is alligator cracks, as we like to call them, as well as intense. We'd like to repave that. Add HVAC for the 100 area at the middle school. It doesn't currently have HVAC. That's a $250,000 add. And then begin the CMU wall repairs at Danville and Sandown Central for $211,869. And then repave behind the Danville Elementary School for $42,677, where it's been torn up by vehicles driving off the edge and plow damage and the such, for a total of $1,578,396. And I believe we have $1,892,000 slated for CIP this year.
So I would just say that I think the concept was to bring this list in along with the other list and coordinate everything. Again, having a finite amount of resources and making sure we're hitting on the most critical things. I again struggle with the masonry walls because they are not critical at this point. They're structurally sound. They're unsightly, no doubt about it. But you know, if someone was to say, well, we'll do the pointing work where there are cracks in it, I'm okay with that. But it's the sandblasting, you have to have people come in, even to bid the work, they've gotta come in and do a test blast. And so I just wanna make sure that we strategically are allocating those resources to where things are critical. So I say we take this list and the other list and work on it collectively on Monday and kind of banter some stuff around.
Yeah.
A question if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just about the last time we had here, we were talking a little bit about the windows, courtyards and whatnot around the high school. And you were gonna let us know a little bit about how much we were actually losing in terms of, you know, heat through those, and whether it was something that should be moved up in our, you know, long-term planning here.
Oh, I can say that I believe windows are an important thing, envelopes are an important thing, however, windows in the high school, they're massive, it's a massive undertaking. The estimates I've gotten are around $2 million, $2.5 million. These are rough estimates, we haven't done the engineering, architecture, or anything like that. And the energy savings, being it's a gas building, I can't remember my numbers, I brought them I might have them written down from one of my meetings. I think I gave a summary, but I don't have them with me. The energy savings for the gas, for window upgrades anywhere between 15 and 50%. If you look at what we use for energy, natural gas to heat the building, I think it was, I can't remember what it was it's $75,000. So if you divide the 15 to 50%, you're looking at a return of investment on the window project of anywhere between, I think it was 50 to 300 years, depending on where that energy savings estimate comes into.
I have one.
Also,
Go ahead, Maria.
As part of the construction committee, they request the study for the windows. They are currently doing the engineering and the architecture study, and they will meet in January, the second week of January.
So the windows, the actual cost and energy, the actual cost of what that would cost is coming toward the construction committee in January. We've already asked him to do that, and he is well in progress and well aware that that's gonna be one of the things they have to bring at the next meeting.
On another thing besides windows though, about the boilers, and the burners and stuff like that, was that not, I specifically remember that was like anything with a boiler or anything like that was gonna be part of the $25 million lease.
That's not true. There's some things that made the list, there's other things that did not. We have a list.
I just remember that that was very specific.
5 million are boiler replacement. The units that we are replacing because they're over 20 or 25 years old. These ones are conversions.
Well, but like you got the replaced boiler at the SAU.
That's the little one here. That has never been part of the 25 million.
Mark, did you have a question?
Yeah, on that as well, just a side tangent. I understand wanting to replace the oil propane because it is more efficient. But 5 or 10%, I'm wondering if that's something that could be looked at again on Monday, and I don't wanna recircle it over. But that's a $400,000 ask for a 5 to 10% energy efficiency return. I don't know, genuinely don't know if that's.
I don't wanna beat this up here. I think that's why
we
kind of
don't
recommended the Monday thing. I will tell you, there's great merit, and I think how you talked about the improvements at the middle school and the learning conditions in the classrooms, right? That's another thing to consider beyond the efficiency portion. When you have kids wearing and teachers wearing jackets on this shoulder, because that's the shoulder that's up against the exterior wall, I don't think that's a very good learning environment. And there are federal laws that require us to keep buildings within a certain high and low temperature. I mean, it's just federal law. So those are things that I want to discuss on Monday night, just to make this meeting efficient.
There's one other thing that I want to say is the lead time for the HVAC units that are proposed on that on phase number 2 is about 29 weeks. As of today, 29 weeks puts us towards the last week of June. So if we buy 2 more weeks for the next board meeting, we probably won't be able to use HVAC units this summer. That's the only concern with that.
I hear your concerns.
Because we only have obviously the summer to use for, there's no way for us to work when students are here.
I have one last question for Kyle. On that exterior tank, the above ground tank that we discussed at great length, I thought we took that off the list. Didn't we?
We said no, and then it was changed.
Because we
it was
said-
changed to yes. I have no written down, and then.
Okay, because I thought we said, who would do that? And it's a hazard. And then we said, well, it's probably double lined. And then we looked at the money. So I just wanted clarification. I thought we decided not to.
Again,
do it.
that we have the minutes and they are draft
Yeah,
minutes
no,
at
that's-
that. If we
that's-
go back and they say change it, then that's fine.
No, I
My
thought we
recollection
went with
is
some
yes.
stuff there, but not
So-
removing the tank.
So how about this? So I agree with what Jack says about taking this list back to the, because again, I understand it is a lot of money though. We need to make sure that we're doing the right things. But I do understand that like for the HVAC though, that it does get hot. So would the board be amicable to go ahead and approve the HVAC so they can go ahead, but then let the rest of this list go to the construction committee on Monday? And then that December meeting, the last December meeting we have, we will make a decision and move it. We can't keep kicking it down the can after they have that last construction. We need to approve the phase and approve the rest of the CIP stuff. Would the board be okay with that?
Seems reasonable.
Can we make the motion?
So make a motion to approve for the HVAC, so that way they're not held up and it's not really hot, but then we'll do the rest of the CIP to that.
Can
And
we
then-
do the roofs and the HVAC, cause it would be when you're doing the roof, you're gonna be doing the HVAC.
Gonna ask too.
Yeah.
See, it becomes an issue of priorities, and that's kind of what I wanna do on Monday. I mean, I think we could probably come back to the chair, you know, and say, okay, this is kind of how we prioritized it, or this is how we looked at it. I thought the lead time on the HVAC units was 20 to 24, but who cares? It's a month, but,
Still gets hot.
you mean for installation?
No, I was saying for the inside of the building.
Inside the building.
But will school be in session mode?
No, there's nothing
Goes
going,
in?
we've already expressed to the high school that they won't be having any
Right,
activities in the school this summer,
Right.
so.
so look, I don't care about the HVAC, I don't wanna suck away all the money that we're trying to reorganize, it's just a
No, I
matter of
understand.
coordinating it. So, whatever the flavor of the board is.
I'll let it be up to the will of the board what you all wanna do. So I guess, okay, question about the roof. So if the roof doesn't get, you said you're just what are you doing with the roof again?
Recovering it.
Recovering it.
They're gonna take the rubber membrane off and replace it and repair any damaged insulation and then recover.
Kyle, can you do the roof without getting an answer on the HVAC right away? I don't think so, right?
No, because
Because
they do,
Right.
we'd be duplicating some services, cause they have to,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
might have
so
to
they gotta
put
go
different
hand in
size
hand.
curbs on
I
and stuff like
agree.
that, so they
Yeah.
have to do.
And the roof is part of the envelope, which is, you know, again, it's water pouring in the building, and we've already had that happen a few times.
Well, actually, I had a question about the roof, the drainage pieces that the old structure up there, I don't know if it's changed the way it was, but it wasn't very effective because it welled up, it was off, yeah. So are they gonna have to level that, or are they gonna, no?
No, it's just recovering the membrane, replacing the membrane. Just to make it, it's like this,
Where's it? I got it right here.
you're talking millions of additional dollars at this point, and
But I mean, I just,
It is, but that's part of phase
worry
two.
about it just
That's two different buckets.
sitting up there and, you know, underwater for too long, issues.
it has to be structural.
Oh.
so they've done scans, infrared scans of the entire roof to see if there's any moisture infiltration right now, where we would have to replace the insulation and any wet areas, and of course, they'd make it watertight before they're done. We'll have a 20-year
So you have some
guarantee
time,
of
yeah.
that.
Middle school HVAC.
Hey, Carl, I'm
no,
confused
it's-
because so on your CIP, the executive summary, we see the HVAC for the middle school, right? That's what you're wanting us to.
No, the middle school, in the CIP is the air conditioner for the special education wing.
Right, which they don't have one now.
It's a special education wing that there are some students that require to have the environment.
So the ESER, I think you're getting at, we already did HVAC at the middle school?
No, I'm looking at your CIP and like nothing. There's nothing about a roof.
No, it's in the
he's talking
25
about the
million.
lease, the lease is back.
The lease is
lease
the one
had
that
the
has the
HVAC.
HVAC and the.
I was talking about the high school roof.
The lease is,
Right, that's
the
under
lease
the
is,
lease.
that's on the lease.
Right.
We're talking about CIP.
That's what I thought we were talking
Yeah.
about.
But see,
I don't see anything on the CIP.
Hold
they're
on.
tied. These things are interchangeable,
But you
I mean,
guys
that's
have
the
gone
point
back
of the
and
whole
forth
thing.
conversations. This-
That's okay.
These things are interchangeable.
Okay, well, all right, I understand the frustration if we wait one more meeting, it's gonna add time, I completely understand that, but I believe at this point, because everything is so tied in, what we do is we just let this go to that meeting on Monday and then come back and we'll move from there. But we have to make a decision on those days, we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Especially the HVAC, because it does have time constraints, that's,
So,
everything else is less.
construction, have your meeting on Monday, do this, when it comes back, this is what we're voting on.
Could I ask these two folks up here that if the board does wait and we don't get any decisions until the 21st, do we envision any of the possible work that we were thinking of completing this summer at the high school able to happen? And I ask because we were planning with the high school team, we're looking to push all kinds of programming out of that building so we can accommodate the construction site.
I think you have a very good feel at the end of the night on Monday. I am not opposed to doing the roofs on the high school, I mean, that's part of the envelope. But there are other things in here that I think are open to discussion, right?
Yes, but the scope of the work, right? And we talked internally about not wanting to have to respond to every contractor's whim about when they can come out here or not and shut it down so we can get it done in this block of time and allow our programs to plan to operate in other areas of the district. I guess I want this group to understand, like, if they don't make this decision tonight, is that work still feasible or not feasible? And whether we get to it or not, I just want you guys to understand the timeline about maybe the work we were gonna approach doing this summer now isn't until the next summer.
When in the summer is your completion time, like the 15th of August?
Try to do it by the 15th of August, but I mean, we're talking, these things are not coming at least until mid-July now, and again, we're ordering 17 units, so it might push it out even further. Can you start school without them? Yes, but you're not gonna wanna move a crane on top of anybody in the school.
Do we want a
either, so-
construction site operating when school's in session? My answer is no.
They do it all
Absolutely
the
not.
time.
We're gonna do what we can.
They do it all.
So
It's
I understand they do it all the
It's
time, but
possible.
maybe it's not best practice.
The longer you wait, the more stressful it gets.
I
That's
just
all
want
I
these
can
folks to
say.
have a good understanding.
that was my point, that if you count 29 weeks, that pushes to the end of June. If we wait 2 more weeks, it won't be until the middle of July what that lead time is. If we have 17 units arriving in the middle of July, 1 month, I don't think they can install 17 units in 1 month.
It gives us 6 months, that's
Kim, I'm just
24
gonna
weeks.
revisit this question one more
Just
time.
count the weeks here.
Yeah.
If you count the weeks, 29 weeks is June
Hey, look,
27th.
they could show up a week
Jack,
early, they could show up
Jack,
2 weeks
look,
late.
I called on Kim, let
I'm
Kim,
sorry.
let Kim. I know.
Really quick, one more time. What is the problem with pulling out this one project and in advancing this project? And then letting the rest of these things go back to your Monday meeting?
Good.
And then you just pull out this project, this one where there's a crane and there's a limited time frame.
Roof and
Technically,
HVAC.
yeah, roof and, technically it's 2 because it's the roof and it's the HVAC.
Right, so the project, I mean, so like I know there's different line items, but this particular project, could we not pull it out, approve that tonight, then you go to your meeting on Monday?
That's fine.
Is that fair? Is that?
No, that's.
I would rather not have a construction site at
Yeah.
our schools.
Nobody would, but
Right, I don't wanna take, I think that Maria's probably being, maybe it would be 20 weeks, but what if it is
Who knows?
29,
Who knows?
right? Like
It
we
could
have
be
to kinda.
32.
Could be 32, right, so I think I'd rather err on the side of caution with
That's
that.
fine.
Well, then someone make a motion to approve those 2 projects.
Maria, what were you
May I
gonna
Oh, yeah,
suggest
sorry,
something?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Maybe perhaps you can make the motion depending on the meeting on Monday, and we wait until Monday, and if Monday they decide absolutely no, this is not the way we want to go, the motion does not, we don't order the things. But if they decide, oh yeah, this makes sense, we should go with the HVAC systems, then we have the motion and we can order the units.
so you can make the motion tentative upon Monday night
Okay.
and we lose it.
Yeah, so someone make a motion to
Make the
approve.
motion to approve the roof and HVAC project for the high school pending the Monday construction meeting outcome.
And I'll second that.
Oh, but Mark beat you.
So,
Motion made by Kim, second by Mark. I know there's you and then Bree has a question.
My question has to do with other things that are going on. Will, during the summer, will the use of the fields, pack in the middle school?
That's fine.
Yeah, so the renovation pieces that are going on out there can still happen?
Yeah, it's the same as last year.
And anything that you have going on back in terms of irrigation network, whatever?
And you might even be able to use the gym, because the gym already has a relatively
It's a
new
different roof, right?
HVAC and different roof, so I think that's.
Okay, so John will square that with you, I'm sure. Okay.
I've been communicating with the administration at the middle school, at the high school and the middle school to let them know that some programs might be moved down to their building as well, so.
I was just wondering if the middle school HVAC would be tied in with this motion as well, since we are nervous about HVAC timeliness.
It's not the same unit, is it, Carl?
It's gonna be, it's the same type of unit.
Same shipment, same company?
Is it the same time frame? Like, does it
It-
take a very
it
long
was
time
con-
to get?
On Atkinson too, right?
Atkinson HVAC.
Well, we have the Atkinson HVAC too, so I mean.
Are they all coming together from the same company?
They would all
So-
come, they're all gonna
Okay,
be,
so one's contingent on the other essentially.
they're all gonna be the same units.
Motion has to be all the same.
Could I amend my motion? Yes. I'd like to amend my motion, Linda, to say that the HVAC projects at Atkinson, at the middle school and the high school, and the roof
For the high school.
for the high school be a part, be contingent upon the Monday meeting. Thank you.
Second. All right, any other questions about this motion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed and abstained. Okay.
Good catch, Brady.
All right, facilities update. We have
I don't think you guys want me to go through this, right?
I don't want you to go line by line, no sir.
I've done it before, I can do it again.
No thanks.
But if you have any questions, please let me know, I'm what I'm here for. Just a couple highlights, the high school boilers, I just wanted to let you know they came online on Monday. There was a couple small issues that are being taken care of tomorrow, and all three of them will be fully operational start after tomorrow. Today, right now, the high school's being heated off the two boilers. And it's doing fantastic. We've had a couple balancing issues that we're still working through, just like we're still doing at Danville. I wish that would end too, but we're still working on it. So yeah, that's exciting, and the old boilers are gonna be ripped out starting Monday.
Cool. Kim?
What does that mean that they're tuning the boilers?
So these old boiler systems ran where they needed 180-degree water out and they needed 160-degree water back because of the fact that they had cast iron. If you bring cold water into a hot furnace, it cracked them. These actually run much lower. You can run the water temperature down to 80 degrees if that's all the temperature of the water you need to keep your building warm. So if it's 70 degrees outside and you're still calling for heat, some of our air conditioners work with heat. It's kind of weird because you have an air handler blowing 50-degree air to cool off rooms in the summer. Well, if you have a room that's already cool, you add a little bit of heat back in to reheat that air to come back into the room at a tempered air. So these boilers can run as low as 80 degrees and keep the building warm on certain days. Other days, when it's this morning, they were kicking out 176 to 180 degree water to heat the buildings because of the outside air. And it has to learn your building and what the building needs are. So if we're not putting out enough hot water when it was 20 degrees out today, then we can up the temperature gradient basically so that it heats with warmer water. We wanna see a higher return temperature of that water so that we can fine tune. It's basically to run the boilers at the most efficient level it is.
Do they do it themselves or is it somebody learning it?
It's us learning it.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
We see what's going on and then we can adjust a couple settings on the boilers and it wants hey, we need a little warmer water when it's this warm out, and it does that.
That makes sense. I've been hearing about that from Linda, just being, you know.
It's all new to me.
Right, and that's what makes sense that 1950s boiler is gonna be different than this one, but now I understand why it's gonna take a little time to figure that out. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions about facilities updates?
Later, I'd like to talk to you a little about the boilers, but not so much the boilers themselves, but the pipes and valves, throughout the building that were weaknesses in the past because they were.
So one of the things we've talked about is replacing and upgrading the controls in the building, and that's replacing all the valves too. So we already did that at Danville, and we're in the middle of that project down at the middle school. We're running the wires for the controls now, and as soon as school's out, they're gonna get into the classrooms and start doing the valves in the classes. So all that's supposed to be upgraded as well. Yeah, there's a lot of
you probably get
stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be upgraded, and that's part of, hold on. I think it's in the So that's part of the phase 2 of the lease if it's approved. Is to replace the high school project. The middle school's already been approved, we're in the middle of that project now. And as we go through these buildings and do controls upgrades, all the buildings are gonna have new controls by the time we get done with the lease.
So what's the difference between a control and a valve?
The controls control the valves run off of those controls, so they're all getting
So
replaced as
that's
that.
a computerized system to manage the valves coming from the boiler.
Yep, and I can show you it on my computer right here, it's pretty cool.
Sure, I'm sure you can.
I can actually see the boilers at the high school for the first time too, it's very exciting.
Bree?
I saw on other items of interest that the Sandown Central Play area is still requesting a fence. So I was wondering how many children are running away.
That's not for me to know.
We'll,
Mark?
we'll talk about that.
Enough that they're complaining
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, now's a good time.
Go ahead, go for it.
So yes, Mark and I met with
Kim?
Justin and Sandra and the educators at Central today. It was a pretty awesome meeting and but one of the things that came up was that we actually have at least one child that can't attend recess because they're a risk to run away. In fact, some of the teachers wear sneakers in case they have to chase after if this one child was to get outside. Anyway, Mark and I were talking about it, and it's not a very big fenced area, and we have a child that can't go outside at recess, and that could be all sorts of issues. But just in fairness to a child that can't go outside for recess, this seems like a no-brainer to me that we need a fence there. Like this is.
In addition to that one child, some of the teachers, so there are some fundamental things that are challenging with that facility due to historic precedent and some other unique factors with that school that we're all aware of. One of the very few easy fixes is the fence was brought up a couple times. There are a number of teachers who bring sneakers, literally so that if they have recess duty, they can put them on because there are a disproportionate number of kids there who like to jump the fence or the non-existing fence. As a matter of fact, their teachers have spoken about having to or voluntarily going away from their planning time so that the kids could be outside, so there could be enough teachers. They've resorted to having janitors out there trying to help them watch the kids because one ball goes over and 5 kids follow it. So, lining up with what Paul said, that seems to be one of the very few easy fixes we have that can make our teachers' lives and the quality of our students when they're out there that much better. So,
If I remember correctly, the cost of that fence was $70,000, because we talked about the fence, right, Carl?
Less than 23.
yeah.
I make a motion to put in the fence.
I will say, actually, would you let Paul make that motion?
I will. I rescind that motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to, I would like to make a motion to install a fence so that the children can play and not take areas to get outside. But yeah, to install the fence.
If you allow me, I'll second.
You might wanna say which school.
Say with us.
Say the school in your motion. Put the school in your motion.
Oh, Sandown Central. I'll just need to do that.
AKA learning something.
Seconded it by Mark.
Carl, can you do that? Can you do that now? The ground isn't frozen enough not to be able to do that,
I'm
right?
pretty sure we can get it.
Alright, a motion was made by Paul, it was seconded by Mark. Any other discussion on that?
The only discussion, and you'll be familiar with it, is where they access that cement pad with the little tables. Is how we would just navigate that, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Straight
As
line.
far as I know, the fence was going behind the playground.
Correct.
Along.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
Correct.
and then what, that front section?
So we did not talk to the administrators, the front section where there's a concrete pad, perhaps that's something you could touch base and see
Something
whether
like
that would be valuable. Because one person could control that, 20-foot opening, see whether that's something they want to gate there or not. Leave that up to your discretion when you talk with them, whatever.
Motion's been made, seconded, any other discussion on it? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained.
Thank you. Very thankful.
Does anybody else have any other questions about facilities update? No, okay. Moving on, we do have the tractor bids.
Looking for a recommendation to buy a John Deere tractor from Rosencrantz with an extended warranty for up to 6 years.
Anybody have any questions? Yep, go ahead.
Having priced some of these out just recently, I'm very familiar with the pricing, but what attachments are we getting with that? Or is there any attachments that we already have that fit there, or are we getting attachments with it?
We're getting some attachments with it, and we're using some of our old attachments with it. I mean, we're keeping our Rotodare and nobody else. That's one thing, but I know it's coming with a snow blower, the rear, and a quick disconnect bucket and forks. I don't remember everything else that I asked for.
Okay.
I do have them. I have the information somewhere on my computer, but
You're fine.
But we did get the attachments we needed to operate it as well.
And I don't have it on here. Was it the 60 horsepower? Which one was
At
the
least
John Deere?
55 horsepower is what we asked for. It's the John Deere 4066R.
Okay.
With the extended warranty, right?
With the extended warranty. It's a 6-year extended warranty. And it's
Breathe.
I was just wondering, because I believe you said you had a different, the Kubota, I think, last time. So will that be sold for parts, anything to offset some of this cost?
We'll take it to the auction as we do with all our used equipment.
And will that
Take it to the
be,
state auction where
Paul will buy it.
and will that money go to offset the cost of the new one?
That's what we do.
Yeah, just making sure. Okay. Someone wanna make a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, motion made to approve for the 4066R with extended warranty. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mark. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained. All right.
Can I circle back to something really fast?
Sure.
Sorry. When I was just looking at the list of, the executive summary of the list of things we're doing, and it was the Belfry Tower. And then it said to see the information about the L-CHIPS grant. I screwed that up. And I didn't see it.
I'm sorry, that was added in one of my previous executive summaries, that's why.
Just forgot to take it out.
So the L-CHIPS is New Hampshire grant for the, what's it called, something community historic improvement program or whatever.
Right.
Something like that, and they will match up to 50%. EEI is handling that application process. The application can start going in March of this year, or they have their first meeting in March, and then we can apply after that, shortly after that.
Okay, so we won't know until.
We won't know until November of next year, so a year from now, we will know if we get it or not.
And that would be for phase.
This project has 2 phases.
Right.
Phase 1 is like the structural change that, the structural repair improvement that we have to take care of so it doesn't collapse.
Right.
And then it has like more like the beautification, not beautification, but the
The trim work.
Right, which is not the structural keeping
Right.
it up.
And that's where the grant comes in, for that piece.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the more expensive.
And that's in phase 2.
And that's
It's actually
expensive.
phase 3, we're doing phase 1 and 2 as part of this and is part of the lease. And then phase 3 would be part of the, it would be it would be a CIP project funded partially by the L-CHIPS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, I think that's it for you, Carl. Now we have the
Are you
depot. I don't know, you might have to stick around a little bit.
Nice job on the baseball field.
Thank you,
Yeah.
we did in Mall Fields.
Good job.
And
I could see the one I drive by.
you know, I forgot what I was gonna say something else, but thanks.
See how that.
I take the compliments as soon as I can from Jack.
Take it and run, man. All right,
I just wanna
depot.
thank you for
That was an early
everything.
Christmas gift.
Oh, what I wanted to say is Ken Henderson uploaded a lot of our pictures of all our projects on our website right now. You're more than welcome to go and look at some of the projects as they were beginning, as they were going through and stuff like that, so it's
Well, and
a lot of stuff.
thank you for taking those before and after photos, that way people can see,
Yeah.
so that's good. Good
Thank
job.
you, Ken.
Part of that community outreach.
That's right, thank you.
You really should go to the high school and look at those boilers.
Oh, those
I'm
boilers.
excited about it.
They're running at full speed and it sounds like you're standing here.
Maria, you got the default budget.
Oh, yes.
This is just informational, go quick, Kelly.
I get to drive the tractor.
The old one.
Anybody?
Might be missed. I had to try it down here.
You can grab my.
Alright, again, this is just some more informational stuff for tonight, but Maria's here if anyone has any questions. She's provided a packet for us, and again, that pie chart that breaks everything down.
So just as a reminder, the default budget is a formula that is governed by the Department of Education and the Department of Revenue. It is the prior year budget plus any contractual agreements that we have, which most of them are CBAs that have been voted and we have to include them.
Okay.
And then minus any one-time expenses that are in the budget. So in this district, we have the vehicle that we have in the budget every year, which comes out every year for the default budget. And then we have miscellaneous equipment that is a one-time purchase, either cameras or projectors or, so we round up those and take them out of the default budget. So it's basically a number that doesn't have a lot of flexibility as the proposed budget. Right. And in the first page, in that summary, it explains one by one what are the additions and the two decreases to the budget, which is the vehicle and the equipment.
Mark, go ahead.
Just have to say, Paul and I used this when we presented information to our Board of Selectmen. The way this was put together and organized was absolutely invaluable for me to understand and then to be able to present it in a way that would make sense to the average person as to what the budget drivers are, what the increases are, what's mandated, for us, that we have no control. So extraordinarily well put together. Thank you.
Yeah, Maria, thank you for
Yeah,
this.
fantastic.
There's always been
Go ahead, Jack.
there's always been a question on maintenance versus capital expenditures. So,
It's actually a good point.
because I get a lot of feedback, you get a lot of blowback during the weeks, and so in some of those things, that there's a very fine line between it being a maintenance line. I say, for instance, I'll use the tracking as the example. A lot of people would argue that's regular maintenance. Some people say that's a one-time capital expenditure. How does things like that fall in here for us? Because for me, it was always, the default budget was black and white.
The budget has very clear, the maintenance line is a maintenance line and the capital items are capital and they actually get taxed differently. Because the capital items get taxed on valuation, property valuations, and the operating budget gets taxed on ADM, average daily membership. So they are very well defined in the budget and they have to be.
Just needed to ask the question, seeing I don't have my glasses tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is a very good question and a lot of people ask that question. I get a lot of inquiries from the community asking that question
A lot of questions out there right now.
And I always tell the same thing. If you see in the apportionment, the capital side is completely separate because, like I said, it gets taxed based on the valuation, not on the ADM. Everything else gets taxed on the ADM.
I will ask you for one thing, is could you break down what the impact is almost per household, per tax rate on $500,000? Because a lot of times people say, God, that was $100,000, and knowing what the impact is, I always found it to be fruitful and helpful for the taxpayers to understand $500,000 expenditure, what the impact to them is in their particular town is. It's a lot of money, but it's, at the end of the day, it could be $5, $10 a household to get something done, something fixed. So if you could just kind of break that down for me, that would be, because I wouldn't even know how to do
We
it.
already have it, so yeah, I can
Thank you.
send it to you.
This is off of the default budget, but to the regular budget, where's the budget the school's budget committee as far as coming up with the proposed budget?
So we have the first draft of the proposed budget last Thursday. They look at the first draft of the proposed budget after all the administration have presented their budgets. It was almost $600,000 over the default budget. The budget committee tasks tasked us with the exercise of trying to come up with $2.5 million of items that could be taken away from the budget. It's not, the definite answer is not that they want to take 2.5 million. It's an exercise for us, the administration, to look through every line and projects and programs and what we can do, what is something that we can put on hold, and what are things that we can put on hold or that we can maybe rethink to come up with some savings. So that's gonna be presented on Monday to the budget committee. Justin is gonna present it to the budget committee. And again, they will make it very clear that it was an exercise, an administration exercise, not something definite that they want to.
That meeting is also joint, correct?
It is.
We have the budget committee on Monday, which we're presenting it to the budget committee, the exercise, and then on Thursday is the joint meeting.
Okay. So the joint's Thursday.
14th, right?
Yes.
What are type of value judgments are you making there in terms of, you know, what's important? You know, who's deciding that? Even in an exercise, like, you know, I'm a little uncomfortable just saying, we're doing this exercise and then I'll find out, oh, we like that exercise, we're doing that. And we've never really had a chance to look at it. You know, what types of things are we, you know, thinking that we don't need to do?
When we first sat in as an admin team, Don, I think that's probably you said it differently, but we almost phrased the beginning part of our meeting with that question about what philosophy are we gonna approach this exercise with?
Yeah.
Where we landed in the consensus we came to for this exercise is we were gonna look for, if we are believing, which we landed on, that the value of education is coming delivered through people, that we wanted to look at an exercise that did not yet deal with staff. So we were looking at all expenditures outside of the staffing domain.
Which prioritizes, you know.
Am I right in assuming, I heard the number 70% is contractual? I mean, that you only have 30% of that proposed budget that is actually discretionary, right? Most of it is the busing, the contracts, the employee contracts, the food, insurance. That adds up to things that we can't walk away from, obligations we can't walk away from, is roughly 70%. Is that?
I'm not sure where the 70% came from, but
God, I
yes,
heard it.
you are correct in the sense that we do have contractual things that we have to leave in the budget because they are contractual and we don't have a way to change them. All of our CBA contracts, they have been voted, we have to include them, and they have a price tag and they have to be what they are. But there are other items, including, for example, transportation, which the budget for transportation is 29 buses. Well, for the last 2 years, we have been running only 25. So we have some room in there to reevaluate and say, well, maybe we don't need the 29 that we have been setting the budget for, and that is in the agreement, in conversation with the transportation company. We can say, okay, which Justin have had the conversation, say, okay, is it really 29 or is it really 25? I'm just putting an example, I don't know from the top of my head. So these are all the things that we have been looking through this past week, meeting with all of us, all of the administration, literally looking at what could it be?
No, it's a tall lift, and you have unfunded mandates on top of it.
Justin, then, did you?
I heard Jack's question as what percent of the budget is discretionary?
Yeah.
Well, to what you're trying to accomplish, so that would be 30%, basically 30 grand.
Less.
30
Less.
million, right?
So salary and benefits are at 70.6, so you're 0.6% off, Jack. But then you have to.
I'm not always right.
Yeah, transportation and eating.
Okay, yes, so I apologize, yes, you are correct, 70% is benefits and salaries. That's 70% of the budget, and 30% is the operating budget, which is more flexible, more flexibility there than there is in the salary and benefits.
I guess then you talk about a surplus potential at the end of the year how does that impact what the budget number will be that we have to raise anyway?
We won't have as big as a surplus because we'll be taking out of the surplus. But again, it's actually a very interesting exercise, and I think it puts us all to think beyond the.
3 is better than 2, go nuts.
Well, you end up talking about values.
Values and priorities and wants versus needs.
Yeah.
So those are interesting conversations and a different way to think, right? It's always interesting.
Speaking of the joint meeting, which board members here are planning on attending that 14th meeting? 1, 2, 4.
Are we not allowed to have a quorum at it?
No, you can go. I was just gonna see who was gonna be able to come.
I will likely be there, I gotta check.
Any other questions about the default budget? Again, it's just informational at this point. Okay, thank you, Maria. Kelly.
Are we gonna have it in the agenda for next?
Yes,
meeting?
and we'll vote on it then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Maria.
Yeah, mine is pretty quick. I'm asking for money that, in positions that we couldn't fill, to have that money transferred over to my contracted service line, because we've had to contract people.
Easy enough.
Choice there. Gotta pay the bill.
I guess, can you just explain that a little bit better?
Yep, so
I'm sorry.
we have speech pathologists and stuff that we had to contract out with, we couldn't hire them. So I need to take the money that I had allocated for them and their salary and move it over to a line I have that's contracted.
So we're just transferring.
Just transferring money, that's all I'm asking. It's a big ask, but I'm asking for that.
Make a motion to approve the budget transfer requests for special education services.
Line item transfer.
For $588,857.
Right? Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kim. And again, we have these positions, we need to offer these services to our students, but we just don't have the people to fill, so therefore we have to go out it turns over to the contract out.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion on this?
So this just moves from from wages and salaries packet, it's just different account lines really, I guess, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just really sad we can't get those people.
It is.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstain. Alright, there you go.
While I have you, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the proposed budget, that Maria just went on, the psychological services increases by roughly 200,000. And I'm just wondering if that is because of this shortage and the extra cost that is the demand.
It is, so those are related service positions, speech, psychologists are all really hard to fill. And so, yeah, that's increasing, we are predicting, because the population is kind of dwindling about psychologists that are out there. They're going into retirement and then they're becoming contracted people. So we are blessed with a couple of our people that retired that came back as contracted people. So we really, we're good, just like some of our other positions, but they come back at the cost. So, yeah.
So again, just to clarify and understand, our demand in the school is higher than most for these services in the surrounding areas, let's say. And we are unable to fill positions that we are legally obligated to administer, provide. And that is a driving cost.
It is, yeah.
Thank you.
We need to have them, we can't find them, so we have to contract because they're not coming to us.
And the contracts are usually way higher than just having the people.
Absolutely. You're looking at sometimes double.
So we would essentially save money even if we increased the pay for these services.
Absolutely. If you increased your pay, yep, you would.
You would
And you
still
wouldn't have
save
to,
money.
and you wouldn't have to double, right?
If you have the people. You still have to get the expertise.
Any other questions for Kelly while she's here? Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Right, TTA, tentative agreement.
TTA tentative agreement, we were really hoping to bring it to you tonight. The executive summary you have still stands. The documentation in there about the 3 tentative agreements and attachments still stand. The stipulate highlights that we pulled out and promoted for you still stand. But we're still in conversations with the board attorney and our admin team here about generating that exact number for the warrant, and we're gonna need a little bit more time to do that. So the intention is to bring it back before you on the 21st of December, to have that same executive summary stand, but to have a really clearly defined number. We wanna be really cognizant and careful that when we report that out, that is a number that it stays, so things stay consistent in communication to the voters. So we'll see you back later in December with it.
Last thing is draft warrant articles. Again, this is the 4th presentation. I see that it's actually been whittled down a little bit. I think we had like 14 the last time and we're down
Yeah.
to about 9, right? Yeah.
So I mean, the feedback from the board so far has been to kind of really prioritize warrants, and to be able to do that, the less that there are is kind of the feeling of this board. So we had talked about some pieces before that we removed, and we're either gonna seek alternative means to pursue them, or we're gonna be putting them off a year in terms of making that request maybe at a later date and time.
Anybody have any questions about the warrant articles? And I think the plan is that once we get all of them, we'll vote to approve them all at once, so it's all one vote. Okay. All right, administrators report.
Ginger, can I start with you? I know we got some pretty cool partnership to advertise, and I just wanted to have Ginger speak to it because she's done a lot of the leg and head work, kind of getting connected with the Center for Life Management, which is the regional kind of behavioral health network here. And we've got some good partnership formed with them and some good services for our kids coming forward.
Thank you for the forum, just to kind of update the board about some of the things that are going on. As a school community, we continue to acknowledge the rising need for mental health supports for our students and our families. And I think we also continue to acknowledge that there are limitations to the services that are accessible in the community, just because of the demand, as well as the limited resources that we have within the district. So over the past year, the district has been working to really increase their community partnerships with community agencies to see how we can best provide some wraparound services and then eliminate barriers so that our families and our students have increased access to these supports. I'm very happy to share with the board that we have been working to develop a memorandum of understanding with the Center for Life Management, which essentially will solidify the commitment that we have together to work collaboratively to provide these supports for our families. Essentially what that means is the MOU will provide a framework with specific parameters around who has what types of responsibilities in this partnership, so that we can have greater access to mental health supports through and within the school setting. Services in the school setting could look like anything from supporting a family with a mental health intake, mental health counseling that could take place in the school setting, supports through the Assertive Community Treatment Program through CLM, as well as case management and case consultation. CLM will work in concert with the Timberlane Regional School District staff to determine when school-based supports are most appropriate and needed for students. So it's not going to necessarily apply in every case and situation where a student is receiving services through CLM and they're attending here. There will be certain times and places when that partnership will really work in this setting. So I'm really excited with all the things that are going on with CLM. They have a real broad array of services and supports within their programs. They do a lot of outreach, referring families to other community-based resources. They will help with insurance and benefits applications. They will refer out and help families get access for other financial resources in addition to all the mental health supports that they provide. So this is going to be a really useful partnership for us, and I look forward to just continuing to grow that over time.
Awesome, thank you. Jack, go ahead. Yes.
Are they a private organization, not-for-profit? I know nothing about this
Yeah,
group.
so the Center for Life Management is the mental health agency that provides services to this catchment area. So there's a number of towns that they provide services for. They're located in Derry. They also have a satellite office in Salem, but we fall into their catchment area. So it is the local community mental health center.
It's a really good program.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for speaking to it, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think Sandy has a singular
Yeah.
item to share.
I just have one update that kind of has two facets to it. So last Friday, I had the opportunity to be at the high school. So one thing that happened in that building last week is many of us in our roles as directors or principals, school leaders, we're affiliated with regional groups that connect us with colleagues across the state to maintain connections, to talk about new things that are being rolled out, to support one another. So last Friday, our high school actually hosted the regional high school principals meeting that meets once a month. So we had approximately 15 or 16 principals from other high schools across the state visiting our campus. They were in our library. And then through that forum, we had about another 15 of our students who are involved in Life of an Owl program present to those principals about that student leadership program, what they do, the training that they engage in. And what was really unique is these students talked about this program. So you may have heard about Life of an Athlete. That's how this started. And years ago, Mr. Fantasia and Mr. Lena at the high school, they collaborated together. They've expanded it outside of athletics to expand leadership opportunities to students in all avenues at the high school. But the program is really designed to support quality peer interactions, to walk students through leadership scenarios that might put them in tough situations, potentially in social interactions, to help them to maintain healthy lifestyles, to be able to talk through some difficult situations with peers that they might be put into, to be able to talk about the potential impact on them as athletes, as musicians, as performers, as students, just as teenagers really. And so we as a district have been able to maintain the student leadership program all the way through COVID. And it's quite, what we heard from the other principals is that that is not something that happened around the state. So this group of students presented to the principals, but they also just about a month ago hosted 5 other regional high schools and student groups that are looking to start a Life of an Athlete, or it'll be unique to their own school, but they are starting training with peers around our region and around our state. And so they presented to this group. They offered up to, host other schools or principals to connect with them. So it's really cool to see, right, at the high school, our high school is hosting this opportunity for connection, but then our students are modeling that and doing that for their peers that they might be playing on opposing ends of a match. So they have those connections and are able to make bonds that go beyond athletics and that go beyond other avenues that they're participating in. So I was there to listen. I was really proud of the students, but also the program that's happened at the high school. And this started back when Mr. Woodworth, Life of an Athlete started at least 10 years ago and has really grown into Life of an Owl. So just want to make sure, so we talked about student council at Danville, but we have some really great leadership opportunities in our school. And we've become kind of a model for other schools and districts around the state, which is great. So it's really awesome.
I can tell you, I have a close friend in Boston was an AD in Boston, and he asked me about the program, which I was surprised he heard it.
Yeah.
In the city.
Because we had some of our kids, and you're talking about wide range of types of students, different demographics. You have kids from all types of programs, all types of backgrounds. But there's leadership needed that has so many common elements that when they get together as a group, they're talking the same language. And it really does help with the whole climate of the school when kids are respecting kids that aren't normally the ones they would have been paired with. But this has been Angelo's vision for many years, and he's worked really hard throughout New England and the state, to enlist, programs for the schools to, that he could help model what we're doing now. It's phenomenal. So we're proud of it. making mention of it tonight.
It's great. Kids did a great job, so I just wanna kudos to that group, so.
2 more quick things. You good?
I am.
One's business and one's still about kids. Ken, thank you for helping us out tonight. Do you have a picture of 2 students back there perhaps? It's up. I'll get to that in 1 second. I wanna close with them. Part of the admin report is also about our request for proposals and kind of where we stand. So we have 2 currently open. One was reported to you last time. It's the irrigation RFP. It's still open and it looks like it has a close date of January 16th. And we just most recently posted an RFP for the pond dredging and the expansion that also will have a closing date on the 16th. And that currently is sitting not only on our website, but the Dodge report, the construction summary, Construct Connect, the New England Earth Services, and is also with Busby Construction. So those are kind of the places where it's landing right now.
Okay.
All right. These 2 students behind me with Mr. Vacarezza, I very rarely read, but I am going to read to you the description about why we're going to recognize them. So sophomore students, Soha Shah of Atkinson and Gabrielle Sierra of Plastow have been selected as the 2024 Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Representatives for Timberlake. Award winners were nominated by a faculty member, completed an application, and participated in an interview with the selection committee. Soha and Gabrielle will have the opportunity to attend this flagship program, the State Leadership Seminar in the spring. The seminar is designed to empower high school sophomores to recognize and apply their leadership talents to become effective, ethical leaders in their home, school, and community. The leadership seminar will include hands-on activities, networking with other top-performing leaders in the state, and exploration of leadership skills, all while learning how to lead others and make positive impacts in their local communities. So certainly congratulations to Soha and Gabrielle.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I would say my daughter was, I think 2019, I just pulled up a picture posing with you and
Same background?
The wall across the way, yeah.
No, but and Sarah Rochford and Shauna Ruth, who was the other. And man, the opportunities that come with that program, I mean, the New Hampshire ambassadors, and then she went to Chicago and the World Congress, and she still does stuff with them to this day. She's a junior at Tampa, and still once every summer comes and finds something to do with the Hobie group. And it's just been, everything about it for my family has just been very positive. So,
Kids absolutely grow through the program, it's wonderful.
yeah, it's a good program.
Well, congratulations to them. Thank you for sharing that for us.
And our faculty has to recognize them and
Yep.
nominate them, right? Like they play a role in that opportunity.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you so much. Personnel report.
I'd like to make a nomination for the thank you, professional nomination for Megan Guanci, media specialist at Timberlane High School.
We're gonna be having a parade, we'd be so happy to have her back.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Second by.
Sounds like a second, Tom.
Second by Ton. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained.
Just one question on her nomination sheet there. I'm not sure, it says library medical specialist, it shouldn't that be media?
It should be media.
Should be.
Yeah, we'll fix it. Okay, next.
She binds books together.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the professional resignation of Mandy Schlisser, grade 5 teacher at Pollard Elementary.
A motion to have a second.
Seconded.
Second by Bree. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstained? Alrighty, you do have a job postings, Fran, nothing changed. Yep, Bree, go ahead.
Sorry. The administration financial analyst that we've had open since August. I was maybe hoping that admin could maybe repurpose that into a different position if we have been able to maintain.
We are actually hiring for that position. I had a candidate last week and as part of the exercise of the 2.5, the position was put on hold. I had a candidate ready to start an offer. And I had to put it on hold. After the exercise, if the position goes back, I have to do insurance for that position that we have already.
Any other questions for Fran? Okay, thank you, Fran. Alright, committee reports, I'll start with Paul.
I did not go to the group one assessment. Good, we talked about the fence, so I think I'm good.
Bree?
Yes. I'm trying to find it, go to someone else.
Kim?
Curriculum assessment met Tuesday. We went over a few curriculum changes in the middle school that will come to the board next meeting. And we did a big macro view of our fall iReady scores through the district. And district administrators are meeting with individual schools, teachers in groups to go over that information and take next steps.
Did you find your stuff?
I did.
Okay, go.
Strategic planning. We had subcommittees that discussed some of the goals and progress of each task, and we discussed things such as the 25-year facilities master plan with Carl, building connections within the community partners, the TTA contract, and working together and basically highlighting some good things coming forth with the strategic plan. And the next meeting will be December 21st.
Kim, did you have anything to add besides?
No, that was it.
Well, I cut you off really
No,
quick,
that's
so
okay,
I
thank you.
apologize.
We had BudCom, I was not there, however, Sierra Dulce was able to give me copious notes. They heard a presentation on the new phonics program, a discussion about the athletic banquet and the costs associated with that, versus weighing it against band uniforms. They discussed the New Hampshire Superior Court, determining that $4,100 was unconstitutional versus the real cost of an education for a standard student at about $7,000. Spent a good deal of time talking about the special education budget and how that was made one of the major drivers. So a lot of the themes that we've already hit on tonight, especially since we have a number of those students who are being tuitioned out because we're unable to serve their needs here within the district. There was a good deal of talk about the proposed budget first to default, some of the conversations this evening, highlighting that about 70% was personnel one way or the other. And they did discuss the exercise that the SAU folks were asked to entertain. What would a $2.5 million cut look like? Where the pressure points, what are the priorities, where's the pain? So that is it. And again, Paul and I were lucky enough to go to Sandown Central and speak with the leadership there. And it was eye-opening, a little disheartening hearing firsthand the frustrations and the roadblocks that they have to run through because of the unique situation they are, and emphasize the need for us to, as a board, look at long-term strategies and directions so that they are not a rudderless ship, because it does not benefit them nor our children. Just leave it there.
I'm glad you guys were able to go there and actually speak with them,
phenomenal.
so I'm glad that was able to happen. Shauna?
Policy met today, we got through, we got through the entire agenda, which is phenomenal, so some of those.
We've been on a roll the last
Yeah,
several
we did,
meetings.
so several of those will be coming to the board at our next meeting for first read.
Safety committee is gonna be meeting next week on Tuesday. Other than that, I have nothing else. Dawn?
Just as of that curriculum meeting, we also did spend some time with the program studies, which you saw the fruits of that work, the work that the curriculum folks did over time, to make that a really high quality production. So, great job.
If I could add to that, Dawn, thanks for saying that. Just that thing that Mark did that showed what every page was, what every change was. It was a word or an idea or a sentence or a teacher or anything, just to see every little change in those two sheets so that you can reference it later if you needed to go see. That was a lot of work and that was a great job. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, because we saw a similar thing tonight, where you had listed all the, changes, but that just makes it so, that's like the best summary ever.
It was. Yeah, and that
Totally
was
stealing that format for future reference.
for Mark. He probably just whipped it out really easy, but
Yeah.
for normal people, that's insane work. So we appreciate that.
Jack?
I have no committee meetings, but I'll start off your new business so you don't have to keep whipping your head around. Just one thing, December 7th, 1941, I just want to take a moment and recognize the sacrifice of our troops and the men and women out there, and it was a significant day in American history, so just wanted to say thank you.
you, Jack. Anybody else have anything for other business? Okay. Do we have any other delegates or individuals? Okay. We are gonna go into non-public. Would you please,
Make a
ma'am?
motion to go into non-public under 91A:3 paragraph C.
We have a motion, do I have a second? Second by Dawn, can I get a roll call, please? Vote.
Jack Sapia.
Yes.
Dylan Woodward.
Yes.
Katie Newton.
Yes.
Shauna Manthorn.
Yes.
Mark Sherwood.
Yes.
Kim McCormick.
Yes.
Frank Woodward.
Yes.
And Paul Buchanan.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everybody. We will not be back other than just to come out and seal minutes. Everybody have a good evening. Yes, very fast.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
fast.
That way, so at the end, it's like one last thing that doesn't get done.